Why can't you stop thinking about them? No, seriously, why? Why is it that out of the billions of people on this planet, one person just won't get out of your head? It's like they've taken up permanent real estate in there, living rent-free, pacing around your thoughts, showing up in your dreams, hijacking your peace in the middle of a quiet moment. And what's wild is they're probably not even thinking about you right now. But you? You're haunted, obsessed. You hate that you're obsessed, and yet you keep feeding it. You keep replaying conversations. You keep rereading old messages. You keep asking questions like, did I mess it up? What if they cared more than I thought? What if I just said this instead of that? But here's the kicker. It's not really about them. It never was. You think it's about the person, but it's about what they woke up in you. And that's the part you don't want to face. Zen Buddhism has a brutal way of holding a mirror up to this. It doesn't pat you on the back. It doesn't say, oh, it's okay, everyone goes through this. No, it slices straight through the noise and asks you, why are you clinging? Because clinging is suffering. And yeah, I get it. That's not what you want to hear. You wanted the comforting answer. You wanted me to say it's because they were your soulmate, or because they wronged you, or because you deserve closure, or some poetic reason that keeps the flame alive. But Zen doesn't care about your flame. It wants to know, why are you letting your inner peace burn for someone who already walked away? That's a gut punch, right? See, the truth is, that person is a symbol. They represent something unfinished inside of you. That's why they haunt you. That's why they linger like smoke after a fire, because they touched a wound you never healed. Or they reflected a part of you that you crave. Or maybe they validated something in you that you can't seem to validate for yourself. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. That craving, that ache, that longing, it's your ego. Not in a cocky, arrogant way, but in the raw, vulnerable, aching to be seen kind of way. Your ego isn't evil. It's just scared. It's starving. And when that person came along and fed it, you tasted something you didn't know you were hungry for. So now, you're stuck in the loop. You're not replaying them, you're replaying the feeling they gave you. That fleeting sense of wholeness. That moment when the noise in your head finally shut up because they got you. Or so you thought. But Zen asks you this. If peace came from them, how real was it? If someone else can give you peace, they can also take it away. That's not peace. That's dependency wrapped in dopamine. See, the Buddha said attachment is the root of suffering. And let's be real, you're not suffering because they left. You're suffering because you can't let go. You've chained yourself to a memory, and every day you keep yanking on that chain like it's going to pull the past back to life. But it won't, because it's gone. The moment passed, the words were said, the looks were exchanged, and the story moved on. You're the one still on the same chapter, rereading it like there's going to be a different ending this time. Let me ask you something raw. What if they were just a mirror? What if that person showed up to reveal what you're missing inside, not to complete you, but to confront you? Maybe they didn't show you love. Maybe they showed you your own lack of it. Maybe they didn't give you peace. Maybe they showed you just how desperate you were to feel it. Maybe they weren't the one. Maybe they were the lesson before the one. And maybe the lesson is that no one is coming to save you from your own mind. That's the real enemy here. Not the person, not the past, not the silence they left behind. The enemy is your refusal to sit in the silence without filling it with fantasy. The enemy is your addiction to distraction, to stimulation, to daydreams about closure, reconciliation, revenge, whatever flavor of suffering you pick today. But there's freedom on the other side of that. If, and only if, you're brave enough to stop running. Because Zen isn't about fixing the past. It's about waking up right now, in this breath, in this second. No story, no label, no narrative, just this. And you hate that because it's not romantic. It doesn't come with violins or poetic justice. It comes with stillness, silence, emptiness. But here's the secret they don't tell you. That emptiness, that's where real peace lives. That's where the real you lives. You think you need closure from them, but what you really need is clarity within yourself. You want a final conversation, a text, an apology, some ribbon to tie the story together. But closure is a lie. What you really want is to not feel pain. That's the truth. But pain isn't the enemy either. Pain is the doorway. The sharp edge of awareness, the alarm clock screaming, "Wake up! You're living in a ghost town." That's what Zen screams in silence. It doesn't give you the answer. It strips away the question. It takes away your toys, your comfort, your coping mechanisms, until there's nothing left but presence. And in that presence, the obsession dissolves. Not because you forced it away, but because there's nothing to cling to. You realize the person in your head isn't even them anymore. It's just your projection, a remix of memory, fantasy, and desire. You've built a hologram out of pain and called it love. But love, real love, doesn't cling. It doesn't obsess. It doesn't beg. It doesn't replay old conversations at 2 a.m. while you pretend you're over it, but you're checking if they're online. Love lets go. Love releases. Love sits quietly with the ache and says, "It's okay. I don't need this to make sense. I just need to be here now." That's what you need. Not a person, not a redo, not a second chance. You need presence, discipline, stillness. You need to be brave enough to sit in the discomfort of not knowing. Brave enough to stop texting, stop checking, stop comparing, stop pretending. You want to know why they won't leave your head? Because you keep inviting them in. You open the door every time your ego gets lonely, every time you're scared of being forgotten, every time you feel like you're not enough. But you are. And deep down, you know that. That's why it hurts. Because you've tasted your own potential and it scares the hell out of you. So you'd rather chase ghosts than face it. But enough is enough. You're not here to worship the past. You're not here to chase a shadow. You're here to wake the hell up and reclaim your mind. You don't need closure. You need courage. You don't need their validation. You need your own attention. You don't need to be remembered by them. You need to remember who you are. So I'll leave you with this. Next time they show up in your thoughts like an echo from a life that no longer exists, don't resist it. Don't chase it. Just pause, breathe, watch it like a cloud drifting by and whisper to yourself, "I release you. I forgive you. I forgive myself." Then come back to now, to your breath, to your body, to your life, because this is where peace lives. And you've got things to build, a mind to reclaim, a future to protect, a version of yourself that doesn't flinch when the past knocks. Let them go, not because they don't matter, but because you do. Now go live like it.
You want more? Good, because I'm not done. Not even close. Let's go deeper. Let's go into that place you don't talk about with anyone. The part of you that wants to let go, that knows you need to, but keeps finding excuses not to. The part that scrolls their old photos just to feel something. That part that swears you're healing while secretly hoping they'll text you one more time so you don't have to do the hard work of actually moving on. Yeah, that part. Let's sit with it for a second, because here's what no one tells you. You don't just miss them, you miss the version of yourself that existed with them. You miss the spark, the aliveness, the mirror they held up that made you feel seen in a way the world never could. But that version of you, it's not lost. It's not locked in the past. It's you, right now, under all the stories, buried beneath the wounds, waiting to be claimed again. You think they gave you something special, that without them, you're missing something. But listen to me. If they could trigger it in you, it's already yours. You don't miss them, you miss you. That version of you that was open, vulnerable, fully alive in the moment. So don't choose them, chase that. Chase the raw, radiant, unfiltered version of yourself you accessed when your guard was down, when your heart was open, when you weren't numbing, escaping, pretending. That's the version of you this world is dying to meet. But you're too distracted trying to resurrect something that was never meant to be permanent. And I get it. The brain doesn't like endings. It likes loops. It likes patterns. It likes to finish what it starts. That's why when something ends without warning, when there's no closure, no resolution, it hooks you. You keep searching for the missing puzzle piece, like a madman tearing apart the house at 3 a.m., looking for something that isn't even there anymore. But that's the trick. That's the trap. There is no peace. There's just now. There's just this moment asking you if you're finally ready to stop running in circles. You want to know what Zen teaches about this? It teaches that the root of your pain isn't the loss, it's the illusion of permanence. The belief that something, someone, some state of feeling was supposed to last forever. But nothing does. Not joy, not sorrow, not relationships, not seasons, not this breath. Everything passes, everything changes, everything dies. And if you fight that, you suffer. But if you lean into it, if you breathe with it, you become free. Because suddenly you're not clinging anymore. You're flowing. You're riding the wave instead of drowning beneath it. You stop needing things to make sense, and you just let them be. That's power. Real power isn't controlling what happens. Real power is being untouched by what you can't control. So when that person drifts into your thoughts again, when the memory sneaks in, soft and seductive, whispering that maybe they'll come back, just smile. Smile and watch it pass, because you're not here to be ruled by a ghost. You're here to wake up, to stand tall, to rebuild. And look, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying you won't cry, won't break, won't feel like the walls are closing in some nights. You will. But pain is the fire that burns the illusion away. And when it does, you see clearly. You see that this entire time, the obsession wasn't about them. It was about your avoidance. You've been avoiding being alone, with you. Avoiding your own stillness, your own grief, your own power. Because deep down, you're afraid of what you'll find there. You're afraid that once all the distractions fall away, once the noise fades, once the memory stops running laps in your head, you'll have to face the silence. And the silence? It's deafening when you've built your identity on noise. But the silence is also where you'll finally meet yourself. And that's where everything changes. See, Zen isn't about becoming emotionless. It's not about pretending you don't care. It's about becoming unshakable. Still like a mountain, soft like water, alive in a way that doesn't depend on anything outside of you. That's the real flex. Not getting them back, not proving your worth, but becoming so whole, so grounded that no one can disturb your peace again. That's what this is about. This isn't about moving on. It's about moving into yourself, into your breath, into this sacred, wild, untouchable present moment. And here's the realest part. I'm not giving you this monologue so you can just nod along and feel inspired for 5 minutes and then go back to scrolling your phone looking for signs they miss you. I'm giving you this because I want you to wake up. I want you to sit in a room by yourself with no distractions and ask yourself, who am I without them? What is my identity without that story? And I want you to feel the grief, Feel the shame. Feel the rage. Let it burn through your body like wildfire. But then I want you to rise from the ashes, not bitter, not numb, but clear. Clear in your mind, clear in your body, clear in your soul. Because the second you stop feeding the ghost, you get your life back. And with that life, you can create, build, love, not from desperation, but from wholeness. And that changes everything. So next time the thought comes up, next time the ache returns, and it will, pause. Don't run from it. Don't chase it. Just notice it. Smile. Bow to it, and then release it. Again and again and again. Until one day you wake up, and it's just quiet. Not empty. Just peaceful. And in that peace, there you are. Unafraid, unattached, alive. Finally alive.
Now, take a deep breath, because if you've made it this far, really felt all of this, sat with the truth, swallowed some of those hard pills, then you already know the ending. Not the fairy tale ending, not the movie scene reunion, not the text you've been waiting on. I'm talking about the real ending, the one where you finally let go. Not because you stopped caring, but because you finally started caring more about yourself. The one where you stop chasing ghosts and start chasing peace, where you stop needing closure and start choosing clarity, where you stop wondering why they don't think about you anymore and start asking why you're still giving them that kind of power. The one where you realize they weren't your peace. They were the trigger, the flame, the mirror. And now it's on you to stop relighting that fire every time the loneliness creeps in. Because everything you thought they gave you was already inside you. All of it. The love, the connection, the spark, the meaning, the aliveness. It was you. It was always you. So let this be the end of that loop. Let this be the last time you lie awake wondering what if. And let this be the beginning of your return. To yourself. To your breath. To this moment, where the obsession ends and your freedom begins. So if this hit you, if this cracked something open, don't just nod in silence and scroll away. Say something. Comment what you're letting go of. Like if you needed this wake-up call. Share this with someone else who's stuck in their head too long. And if you're hungry for more of this, real talk, no fluff, subscribe. Because this journey, it doesn't end here. It starts now. Let's build that unshakable version of you together, one breath at a time. Let's go.